When it comes to measuring the value of a company, one area that's overlooked is leadership. One of the things we've discovered in our analytics when we're looking at measuring the value of customer bases in a merger and acquisition is what the correlation is between great customer experience and loyalty and the leadership of that company. What happens is a very clear and defined process. When you have very high degrees of customer loyalty, and I'm talking about 10 out of 10 and at a minimum 9 out of 10 scores. So we're looking at a client base and we want to have at least 60% of the market scoring 10, which means very exclusive and what we like to call unshakable loyalty, which means the competitors, they can come in with discounts, they can try all kinds of strategies, but your customers will not move. Unshakable loyalty. Now to get that, it requires very specific leadership and a process and company values and the culture and so on. What we know from hundreds of thousands of interviews we've done in our company is that when you have very high degrees of customer loyalty, one of the key measurements that they talk about, one of the metrics and one of the behaviors that causes that exclusive loyalty is the culture and the team in the business. So what there is always present is great culture, great leadership, a really engaged team, equals high degrees of customer loyalty. Once you drop down the scores and you get into that realm of satisfaction, and a lot of people believe satisfaction is the game, but there's actually a whole other metric, which is a new metric that we work with and one we've innovated called customer appreciation. Customer appreciation is a heartfelt connection to your market where they basically appreciate and value everything you do for them and they pay your bill. So when you look at the leadership part of this, there's one really clear factor. A low customer experience score is always reflecting upon poor leadership. In fact, we have a view that you can never achieve a high degree of customer loyalty with a poor performing team and especially leadership. So if you're looking at buying a company, and often you've got to look at the HR part of that business, what's really critical to put into this equation is linking the connection between leadership, the HR part, culture, and customer experience and bringing the two together. Because when you bring the two together, it's a direct correlation between how the market feels about your product and services, but also how they feel about your people and the culture. When those two come together really powerfully, that really creates unshakable loyalty and that puts massive value to a business. And often when you look back on different companies in the mergers and acquisitions, and in that data I mentioned previously of 1/3 failing, 1/3 making no difference and 1/3 being successful, in 2 out of 3, what sits there is there's basically a standard of satisfaction, which means it's fine, they're not too bad, depends on who you get on the day, that kind of thing. So to really create that unshakable loyalty and have this powerful measurement when you're doing your commercial due diligence, you must integrate leadership into that process and company culture. Doing that gives a stronger sense of security around the risk of the revenue that you're buying. Because at the end of the day, you're buying cash flow into the future when you think about customers. And what's very, very critical is understanding why they are loyal. Not what it is that makes them loyal, but why they choose their loyalty. And that is always driven by human emotion and human connection. And that comes back to the leadership and culture in your business. So make sure if you're looking at either selling your business, you incorporate this in your due diligence. But if you're acquiring a business, it's essential that you combine the two. There are many companies out there that look at the HR side of a business in commercial due diligence, and that's critical. But often what's missing is the connection between the two to bring them together. When you bring them together, it'll show clarity of the future intentions of the customers like you've never seen before.